Mad Dog Productions presents the Karachi and Roth Show, featuring the first episode of Bat Chat or BatCast or So I've had this kind of robotic for a while, as I didn't know how I was going to introduce the show because I forgot what we were called. And I was going to say, thank you for checking out the pinfall wrap up, but
Just out of habit.
I almost did it, and I did it just now. It's like 2 seconds ago. So yeah, this is our new show. We're done with professional wrestling talk, at least for the time being. We might talk about Survivor Series in the near future because it sounds like it's gonna be a pretty good card. But other than that, our new show is this is the Karachi and Roth Show because we're gonna cover more on other things. I'm Andrew Karachi alongside
Robert Roth.
And Rob, what do we have in store tonight?
Well, tonight we'll be covering last Monday's Nevermind. No, we're doing the first 3 episodes of Batman the Animated Series.
You want to do the titles?
So we're going to be doing episode 1 on Leather Wings, episode 2 Christmas with the Joker, and episode 3 Nothing to Fear. So kind of the format of the show, what we're going to do is we're going to watch an entire series of a show. Or I'm not sure how you want to do it. If you want to do seasons or series, it probably makes more sense just to do a series.
Correct.
At a time. We'll do one series and then we'll just completely move on to a different series, either related to the one that we're doing or just something else entirely. Who knows?
I think we'll start with Batman because Batman's always one of the more interesting characters, especially through the superhero realm, and just as being Batman being impressionable as far as like being you remember Batman when you're a kid. If you're our age, you remember Batman the Animated Series. If you're a little older, you remember Batman the Animated Series. So I mean, like everyone out there knows Batman the Animated Series. That's a Batman fan. And for the younger audience that's maybe have heard of it but never has watched it before, definitely encourage you to go and check it out. It's one of the best cartoons for especially in 1992. I don't know. What's your history with the Batman just in general?
With Batman? I remember watching this series, and then I remember a Batman one after this, which was probably... Did they relaunch this show?
No, are you talking about the
because there was one in the late 90s.
Right. You're talking about the one with where Batman was maybe a little thinner and was a gray Batman with the black cape rather than the one that we're watching with the blue one. It's the same series. They just they did seasons 1, 2, and 3, which is 92, 93, 94. Then they did a movie, and then they stopped doing it altogether, and then came back to it when they were launching Superman the Animated Series.
Okay, because I remember that then, and then Batman and Superman Adventures. Was that the show?
That was the name of it, but none of the shows didn't correlate with each other. When I was a kid, I saw that. I was like, dude, Batman and Superman in the same cartoon. That's kind of cool.
Right.
We only got one episode, one crossover episode, and that was the Superman Batman movie, which I think we will eventually cover because it's part of that universe. So we'll get to that. But I mean, and
then Batman Beyond was what really...
That was after that,
That's what I actually,
that was in 2000.
truly enjoyed.
Yeah.
Like that I watched every episode.
Did you know that Batman Beyond was supposed to they went 3 seasons, right?
3 or 4,
Yeah, they were supposed to do a 4th season, and you know why it got canceled?
No.
Because they pulled everyone off of it to do Justice League.
No, really?
Yeah. Oh. Because they were pushing to get Justice League done, and they had to pull all the voice actors and all the animators and everybody off of the Batman Beyond project, and they put it on hold like they were going to go back to it, but they never did. And they summed all of it up in one of the Justice League episodes. So Justice League's another show I would like to do too, because that one's really interesting. And Justice League was geared way to a much older audience compared to what we're watching, which is geared to kids. You can tell by how it's geared to kids, but it's also family friendly. So like a parent can watch it and get into it as well.
Right.
And then the bat nerds out there will also love it as well. The people that read the comics. Now, my history with Batman is obviously being my favorite superhero. I'm not really a big superhero guy per se because I don't really like a lot of heroes. I like the DC universe just probably because Batman's in it. And I know that there's people that are really gung-ho, Marvel versus DC, yada, yada, whatever. A discussion I would like to have, like if they really were to do it, and then maybe we'll do this another episode, just pure on it and just discussion. If Marvel and DC were to do a war or something like that between all Marvel, DC, just the superheroes only, who would win that war and why? And it's pretty interesting because you got a lot of different elements that you could put into it.
I don't see Marvel getting the upper hand at any point.
You would think that just off of
you don't have any hero that is so powerful that could take on something like Superman. I feel like Superman single-handedly would wipe out all of Marvel.
You would think that, but you also got to remember that in the DC universe, every single superpower being has a distinct weakness, just a completely distinct weakness, where maybe Marvel doesn't have that. They're just they're their own thing. Because Iron Man, you would probably have to say was maybe the smartest guy from Marvel Universe. I don't know Marvel at all, outside of just basics. And if he could be able to create some kind of kryptonite weapon through his gun, that could neutralize Superman, because he's killable if you have kryptonite. So that's possible. The Martian Manhunter, I would probably say, is maybe the second strongest by what he can do through mind control and put thoughts in your mind to make you do things. But his weakness is very easy, and it's just fire. Just pure fire will just neutralize him completely to the point where he's incapacitated with his powers. And then so you could wipe those two out just by that. So that would mean you have Wonder Woman, who could pretty much hold their own against anybody. Aquaman, who is also very, very, very strong. And then you got the other side with the intellect side with maybe Batman and
But think about Marvel heroes.
Correct. None of them are aliens, from what I heard. They're all Earth.
But who do you have that's actually like a grade A tier 1 superhero, like on the level of Batman and Superman? Like if you just look at them, like we had this discussion like 3 weeks ago, or maybe a little longer, about who's your true main eventer.
Right. Well, that's just the way how DC books their talent.
Correct.
DC
but
goes
you
with the John Cena.
Don't have anyone on that level.
DC goes with the John Cena and Batista route, where Marvel just kind of has a bunch of Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, that kind of stuff. With they have like Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, maybe even all of them like in that realm of talent. They don't have necessarily a John Cena. Maybe Spider-Man might be the most popular. I don't know. But it changes over generations. Like maybe in the 90s it was Spider-Man. Now it's more kind of Iron Man-ish because of the stupid movies. I don't mean it because they're stupid. I don't mean because they're like that they're stupid like the movies are. I'm just saying that's the reason why they got popular, because of a movie generally, not necessarily based off of what it was. Where Batman and Superman have traded as number 1 and number 2 heroes for the last 50 fucking years, when you really look at it. Or for a decade it was Batman, then it was Superman, then it was Batman. I remember when I was a kid, I remember flip-flopping a lot. Like the animated series was Batman, and then then they really pumped hard with Superman, and I remember everyone loving Superman. And then Batman kind of, after the stupid Joe Schumacher movies, you had to be ashamed to be a Batman fan as a kid because those movies were terrible. And then he didn't start getting his popularity back until Justice League, and even that really didn't. Even that was more of a Superman show. And then Batman Begins came out, and that was like, then it was cool to be a Batman fan again.
Was that truly Batman though?
No. That's not. That's the way it was. The way it was perceived.
Yeah.
Or DC kind of took a hit after the Joe Schumacher films and had to push their other heroes, and Superman was back to being on top again. Because the Superman movies, outside the one that no one remembers, the one with Kevin Spacey in it and shit, their movies weren't as bad as those Joe Schumacher movies. Then you had Smallville, which kind of reamped it, and Batman never had a show like that outside of the cartoons. He never had like a live action like him becoming Batman, which I've always that's not that. Commissioner Gordon's gonna become Batman in that fucking show. I'm telling you, there's gonna be no Batman in this show. I like Bruce Wayne as a kid. I just don't see it like him ever going that route. Because I don't know. The closest thing we have to a Batman origin story is Arrow. Because Arrow is Batman.
I mean, they could just skip
in their
a few
universe
years and just get it done. I mean,
but this is what Gotham's going to be. It'll get to a point where they're going to need a Batman, and when that Batman shows up, the series will be over, as they'll see the creature coming in from the night, and then that's how the credits will hit. Mark my words, in like 10, 15 years, that show's still on.
It will not be on in 10 or 15 years.
Maybe 10.
Not on Fox. Fox doesn't keep anything around that long.
No. But that's what I'm saying. Like that's how long you would have to have the show around to establish Batman.
You just cut ahead. You just skip a few years. Here and there, skip it.
You can, but Batman doesn't start hitting the streets until he doesn't start becoming Batman until he's like 29 to 30 years old.
Right. How old is he right now? 12, 13 in the show?
In the show, he's supposed to be like 10.
Oh,
but the character playing him is like 15. So I think he's 15. I think they moved the death up a little bit. I think they made him older when his parents died. It's a good Gotham, the show. Bruce Wayne's the character playing Bruce Wayne. It's a good kid. Like, it's a good actor. It really fits. I feel like he's Bruce Wayne. But Commissioner Gordon is definitely the star of the show. And I think it's more about his career as a police officer, even though he's not a police officer right now. He's a vigilante. But that's when you go into shows like that, you got to keep an open mind and not try to market with the universe of Batman, because in this universe, the Riddler is already like a Riddler, even though the Riddler doesn't exist in the Batman. Same thing with Penguin. Penguin's like the mayor now, after he killed like 50 people and got put in Arkham and was released because he has a certificate that says he's sane.
Well, good. I want one of those.
What makes the show watchable is the characters, the actors portraying the characters. That's what makes that show watchable. Kind of like similar to how our argument with Supernatural is. Like, where Supernatural has gone to a point where it's completely utter bullshit, and if it was any other show, you wouldn't even attempt to even be watching it. But because of the characters of Sam and Dean, it redeems the show. Castiel, the characters, the people playing the characters, it's very character driven.
Yeah. Also like Dexter towards that too.
Right. Or Dexter could have ended after maybe 2 seasons.
It should have ended after 2, and definitely should have ended after 3. But different story.
So that's that. Should we get into?
Let's
dive into it. So our first episode was on Leather Wings. This was the Man-Bat origin story. This has been told in a lot of different variations. Kind of interesting that this was their first show, like their first airing. Like this, they started off with this. They didn't start off with a Joker episode.
It's kind of like what you were saying. It kind of felt like you were just like you've missed like 10 episodes and you just kind of jumped into it. Like I appreciate that they did that. They know they have an established universe, so they just jumped right into it.
Right.
Like, you know what's going on. You know who these people are. Fuck it. Right. We're not going to bore you with introducing you. No.
So Batman the Animated Series is supposed to be a show that is about 2 years, as Batman has been Batman for about 2 years. I know I worded that really weird, but He has
You
been.
Michael Cold it.
I Michael Cold that. Yes,
Yeah.
I talked it backwards. I backwards talked it. There.
2 years he was Batman already. Yeah. He was Batman 2 years, you mean?
But
yeah.
Overall, I thought this was one of the stronger ones of the three that we watched.
Mm-hmm.
The voice acting was, I thought, very, very, very good. I like the guy that. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't checked out the episodes, I would recommend you check those out before you maybe listen to what we have to say about it, because don't want to spoil anything, or I'm letting you guys know ahead of time that you're going to be spoiled.
Spoiler alert!
Spoiler alert! Bitch, cock. But I like the guy walking around, starting his own podcast in the hallway.
Yeah,
like that guy. I was like, "There's Rob right there."
Yeah, random security guy, like guarding this pharmaceutical lab, like with a little tape recorder in his hand, a little cassette tape recorder in his hand, like running commercials and stuff.
What'd you think of the Batmobile?
He's driving a compensator. That's what he is. He's compensating for something there with a hood that long. Come on.
Do you think
do you watch Family Guy at all?
Yes.
You know the one where Peter was driving into the tunnel? He got his new car or whatever, and he was driving into the tunnel, and he couldn't quite make it, and he just smashed his way. That's what it reminded me of. Like, it's so long. It's all hood. It's just all fucking hood. It's great.
When I was a kid, I had that Batmobile as a toy, like the model size of it. Not
you had that actual.
Not that actual. Yeah.
That's how you were dropped off at school.
Yeah. Well, I wish I had that. I would freaking love that. I love how that thing only has 2 seats.
Yeah, it's super fucking. I guess it's all in the fucking engine, even though it's rocket powered. So it needs this huge engine and it's rocket powered.
Yeah. It's the most.
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of things I think about when I watch this show, and my explanation is, well, it's Batman. Like, there's a thing where he's falling from. He rescues a cop out of a building, and he uses the tree branch to catch his fall, so he could catch him and them, and then have a safer landing. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, that tree branch would totally break with like
snap in half
with close to
500 pounds.
500 pounds of mass. And with the elevation of falling. So the physics don't really make sense, but it's a cartoon. And it's my explanation. It's Batman. And that's going to be kind of, if you were watching any other show or any other thing, you'd be like, that's bullshit. But you see Batman, and the thought doesn't necessarily cross your mind. You're like, well, that's Batman. It's believable. It's Batman.
It obviously crossed your mind.
Right. Well,
because you're sharing it with us.
It's true.
So,
it's true.
I'm going to go ahead and bury you right there.
Okay. Fair enough. The other thing I noticed was did you know who Man-Bat was originally?
Yes.
Between the 3 people? You knew it was you didn't think it was the older guy?
It wouldn't have made sense for it to be the older guy. So I figured it was, and the woman, it just wouldn't have been the woman. So.
Did you like how Bruce Wayne shows up and the guy's like, "What? You donate a couple $1 million and you act like you own the place."
I mean, it's a donation, but
he does own it though.
You donated a few million. I mean, come on.
There's an origin in the show The Batman. The origin story is Dr. Langstrom owns or works for Wayne Industries. Now, I didn't catch that in this one. I felt like it was a completely separate lab that Wayne donated to.
Yes. Yeah.
So it wasn't part of Wayne Industries. Okay. Because in that, they changed the origin story of that.
Because if he owned, why would he donate?
Right.
$3 million to a
lab to his own,
owned, yeah,
I guess,
to his own
or he
business.
puts his own money into. I don't know. Maybe
it's like
he
strange,
approves $3 million or whatever.
It's like strange money structuring, like what the Democrats do. So we want to stay away from that.
You pointed out a part, the recording part, where he's like, "Can you tell me if this was a bat?"
Yeah. At one point, like, so Bruce Wayne, he goes to a lab at one point, or Batman, he goes to a lab at one point in there, and he's investigating like one of the crime scenes from where Man-Bat had broken in and stolen whatever, and he finds hair, and then he finds the one guy who was doing his commercial, the security guard, he was recording onto a tape. Well, when he was attacked by Man-Bat, he dropped the tape. Batman found it. He listened to it, and you hear screeching from this creature. So then
kind of sounded like
yes. No,
fuck you, Batman.
Fuck you, Batman. So anyway, he he plays this tape for the scientist in the lab, and he listens to it. He like, and he gets back. He leaves. He calls up Bruce, and he says, "Yeah, this is just." He's like, "Yeah, it's just a bat and a sparrow. They're competing for a nest, and the hare is just your common brown bat." And he just like leaves it there, but it's this demonic noise. Like if you first off, like to make this noise, it's not in a chimney. It's not
a bat.
It's not. You don't have bats in your chimney. You have like a fucking demon roaming your basement, like eating a child, like to make this noise. And it's like this horrible. And he's just like, yeah, it's a brown bat and a sparrow. Like if that was a brown bat and a sparrow, the brown bat is at least 6 feet tall, and probably a man bat, and the sparrow is beheaded. And that's at least 6 feet tall too. So I mean, it's like I don't know. It's just kind of funny. Like he brushed it off. Like anyone would believe that. But oh yeah, that noise. That's just yeah.
So with that, is there any possibility they could piece together that Bruce Wayne? I was thinking about it because the Man-Bat knew that. Oh no, maybe he didn't know that Batman went to that lab. He wouldn't have known that because he went there after the fact.
Right.
Okay, so that trumps that. Because I was thinking, like, if could they piece together that he'd be Batman?
Yeah,
because
but still, where would he have gotten that hair from? They knew where the hair came from.
Right.
Right, obviously. So where would he have been that he got that? So you'd be able to just, like, deduce from that obviously he's lying about where he got the hair from. Right? I mean, you know what the hair is. And it's obviously not in his chimney because
he would know if he
was there or not. Right. So
right.
That's
actually interesting. But
it still
wouldn't prove that he'd be Batman.
It wouldn't prove that he was Batman, but it would
prove that he was at that
lab and that he's trying to figure out like some information about it.
So they knew right off the bat that the bat.
Well, that's why they call him the Batman.
No. So they knew right away that he was lying about where he got it from.
Correct.
And then they gave him a lie back. And then he got mad that he lied to them, or they lied to him.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Another thing, Harvey Bullock. Do you like this character so far?
Well, you can tell he's eventually going to soften up to everything. I mean, in the 3 episodes we watched, he was kind of hardcore in the first episode, trying to make like this task force. And then by the 3rd one, he's just standing next to him, like running jokes off him and stuff. So yeah. I think he's kind of the comedic foil, where he's a doofus that just kind of is out for his own career or whatever, and
Commissioner Gordon. We didn't get to see a whole lot of him, and we got to see a little bit of him in this episode.
He's kind of an asshole.
You think so? Way. To Bullock or just in general?
To Bullock, but in general.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like he's kind of an asshole, in a good way.
Where do you get that from? Because I don't get that at all. He seems kind of like a guy who is strictly by the book kind of guy, but then again will allow a vigilante run through his town.
Yeah, I think it was in the next one, or maybe no, it was in the first episode where he jumped on the helicopter. They took off without Bullock, and he like had to jump into the helicopter. And, I don't give a fuck what you're. Well, I don't give a fuck. I don't care what you're doing, but we're going without you. So hop in, and they just take off. So, what do you think of the excessive use of blimps in the show? Or zeppelins.
It has a very distinct art style that you can tell right off the bat, and it has that Warner Brothers style to it too. Because you'll see it later on in other animations through Warner Brothers that it has that kind of same style. Animaniacs has that same, the way how people are drawn and the cartoony people, because there's a difference. You have like the Bruce Wayne and the characters that have like, they look like people, and then that fat lady from Christmas with the Joker, the really chubby fat lady, she looked like a cartoon character.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that looked like Animaniacs to me. Did you notice the guy was reading a Tiny Toons magazine?
Yes.
Oh, that was in the third episode.
That was later on, but
right.
Yeah.
So there's going to be times where I'm going to kind of skip ahead because I kind of forget what episode is what. But yeah, overall, I thought this had a very strong story, and it was carried a lot. The thing I liked about it. We got no Robin in it, so that was
in the
nice.
First one, yes.
And originally they weren't going to use Robin in the series, but then the network wanted them to put in Robin because it would make it more appealing to kids. They needed Batman to bounce ideas off someone. So, because you see him in the first episode, and he's not very, he's kind of robotic a little bit, not necessarily human. And with a character like Robin, it makes him a little bit more human. So,
it makes sense why they brought him in, for sure.
So, you got anything to add to it? Like, I think there was, what did you think of the art style?
Well, it's an Art Deco kind of
right
style you'd expect. Like, and honestly, considering it came out around the same time, this is a few years after the one with the first one with Tim Burton.
Right.
So kind of a little bit of that art style is incorporated in there too.
Well, they had some of the same people work on this project as that project as well.
Mm-hmm.
Danny Elfman did the theme.
Yeah.
Shirley Walker does all the other music. She's dead, by the way. Just thought I'd throw that out there. I think she died in 2000. So the scores that you hear in the original animated series, you can tell that the music has been different when you go into Justice League and even Batman Beyond, that it's completely different style and doesn't have that same.
Well, Batman Beyond had that techno-ish kind of thing going on about it too. So
okay,
this is more symphonic and
Did you like the title screen?
Oh yeah, with like you pointed out, no actual title for it or anything.
Oh yeah, the intro.
The intro. Yeah.
The intro is one of the best intros I've seen, like in any type of animation.
Just like beats the shit out of like two villains and that's it.
Yeah.
Like,
well, the first guy he tackles is just dead immediately. Like done. One tackle. He got speared by Roman Reigns, and he's totally selling it. And then the other guy got Superman punched like off the building, and then they just show him on top of the building with the lightning strike and no title screen because it's Batman. It's that cool. They don't need a title screen. You know what you're watching when you see it. I like that because that shows that they're gearing towards a little bit more of a smarter audience, that they're not dicking around. They're not going to be like, they're not easing your way into the story. They're just throwing it right in your face.
So you're saying Raw should get rid of its title?
Yes, absolutely. Because when you're watching, you should know you're watching what you're watching, especially when it's been on that long.
So Raw's been on episodic.
Raw's been on for what, 20 some years now?
They started in 93.
93. So
23 years.
23 years. So it's been on for 23 years. If you haven't been living underneath a rock, you know, even if you were living underneath a rock, even if you're living under the rock.
I wish I was living under the rock.
You know when you're watching Raw, you know you're watching Raw. They don't need a title screen. I think they shouldn't even have an intro. They should go.
I think the show shouldn't even be on it.
I agree. If this show wasn't professional wrestling, it'd be gone. The storytelling shit. I don't want to talk about it. We're done with wrestling. We go immediately right into it. But
I'm just thinking about dragging you back. Every few minutes, you're not even gonna know what I'm doing. I'm just
we decided to go this route because we'd rather talk about something else. Because when I talk about wrestling, I get frustrated and I want to like throw children off of a balcony, or TVs. I kind of decide between the two.
Can you throw a child, then a TV?
How about the TV?
Then a child, then a
child,
TV?
then another child.
Oh, okay.
And then another child. And then another child.
And then like a really big TV?
Right.
Just to make sure they're good and crushed properly. All right. Yay.
I will say the music in this episode, especially this one, was very, very good. Especially for a first time ever seeing Batman. And did Did you like the kind of the chase scene they had where he's like hugging the bat and they're flying around through the blimp, and then the one guy's like saying, "Hey, it's Batman," but they don't see the big giant ass bat who dragged him over there.
Yeah, that was kind of like, see, there he is. And it's like, well, wait, there. But no, overall. I mean, I think it was a really good episode, especially for our first one in. Like they could have went the different route of actually like introducing you to some things and like maybe like going on like a easy kind of day for Batman just to kind of like show you what the show is going to all be about. But they jumped right into it immediately, so I liked it.
So now here's the part where we have to say our criticisms of what we didn't like about it. And Rob, is there anything that necessarily peeked out that you're like
that I just didn't like? I mean,
either didn't like or like that was kind of stupid.
Well, I mean, the thing is,
or you would have done it differently or something like that.
You have to take that's going to be a little bit difficult because I mean, on this one, no. On the next one, I could have some.
Yeah, there's a
little bit I can critique, but on this one, not so much. I mean, there's really nothing I can really call into question about it. I mean, it's.
I think the things that I would like to, I would like to have maybe a little bit more of discussion with Alfred and Batman, just in general. Batman reading the newspaper. Oh,
was that one?
No, that was the Fear one, wasn't it? No, that was on Leather Wings. That was the first episode.
Oh, was it where he's wearing the full mask
wearing
the paper?
He's in full wrestling gear, and he's just reading the newspaper, just straight up. That I thought was pretty funny. Other things, that would be one of the things that I thought was kind of stupid, but I kind of liked it. But I could see that maybe some people were like, that's kind of dumb, but it's a show for kids. Like the first time you see Batman, you want him to be in the bat suit. You don't want him to be Bruce Wayne. True?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Other than that, maybe a little bit more of conflict with Bullock and Gordon. Maybe that scene could have been a little longer.
Oh, in the mayor's office?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to see a little bit more rather than it was so short. It was like maybe 45 seconds.
Yeah, but I mean, then that's where you have to kind of keep in mind that it's a children's show and how much
I'm just saying,
want to watch.
Like these are the things that I would like
you would like to see. But
right.
I don't know. I guess I'd have to kind of critique it kind of from the perspective that it is a children's show.
Let's take it from your perspective, not the children's show perspective.
Oh, yeah. Well, then
reminding it being the rating that it is. So I think it was a Y7 rating or whatever. Okay. So
then
keeping it to the rating
it to being a children's show.
Correct, but
so
you watch it because there's still you can watch a cartoon as a child and it still can be bad, even if it's geared towards kids. A bad show is a bad show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
like Power Rangers, a bad show is a bad show.
Yeah, and there's a lot you can pick apart.
Right.
That's a totally different story for completely different reasons.
Right, but I'm saying, okay, so you're watching this episode. What would you have done? Is there anything like?
Well, I would have had Batman immediately behead Man-Bat.
Well, he can't do
with
that.
A chainsaw on fire.
Same stuff
and then
that he
I would have
could have
had
done.
him take a plunger, dip it in gasoline, and fuck him in the ass with it.
You're just like you're just totally not understanding what I'm talking about.
No, I no, but I think this one, honestly, I think this one was done pretty well. I mean, yeah, you could have kind of expanded like the the scene where they were kind of in conflict in the mayor's office and how the mayor just kind of overrode Commissioner Gordon and gave it to Bullock.
I would have liked to had Batman on the outs. I would have had Batman on the outside of the window listening to the conversation. That would have been one thing I would have liked. And then maybe a conversation with Gordon and Batman upstairs. And
then, like, one thing, too, like, between these episodes, like, how much time is passing, or does it vary between...
It's supposed to have a timeless feel to it.
Okay, so it's because, like, the first one, he created that task force or whatever, completely directed at Batman. Second one, he's fine with him. Like, they're all fine with Batman being in existence. Third one, they're completely 100% okay with Batman being around, and they accept him. So, like, do they go in order, per se?
No.
Or, okay, so they don't go in...
The thing was, when this show came out, you were supposed to be able to watch any episode at any time and not feel like you missed something. Like Family Guy. essentially. There's not like an overlaying storyline arc going throughout the whole season. I think it's just the order it was aired. So I think with that we can go into our next episode, and I think this one we're gonna have a lot to say about.
Well, I think then just going back to the first one, then
Sure.
I would have just left out all the stuff about them forming a commission against Batman.
Okay.
Because if you're not going to go, if you're making it so it's not going in any order, it makes no sense that they would be that hostile towards him in the first one and then completely forget about all that stuff in second and third one. It makes it like stands out. Like you'd have to explain then why they're suddenly friendly towards him. Like if they were going to do that, then you'd have to explain why and like, okay, now we're okay with him. Or you'd have to have an episode where he's really establishing like the respect of like all of them, why they suddenly accept them. You know what I mean? Like you can't like, oh, we're gonna convict him of terrorism or whatever, and then oh, never mind, now we're okay, we're hugging now, and he's a good guy. Like you can't follow me on that.
I totally understand.
It's just safer to not build that at all.
I think what happened was that was their pilot episode, and then this one came out way later. I have no idea, but I have a feeling that this might have been the pilot episode. And then, which is kind of weird that they went with Man Bat for a pilot episode, but this might have been their episode that they were producing that they were pitching to the network, and then the network picked it up, and then they just made a bunch of episodes after the fact. I don't know, and that's gonna be my guess on why that happened. Because if I can recall, there's maybe a couple instances where he gets into instances with the police, but for the most part, they're pretty much okay with him in existence. Because of Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, because the first one, it was just extremely hostile toward. Like, they were out to get him. They had officers in the hallway firing at him, trying to kill him. Like, so, and then they're just suddenly fine with him next. Just kind of a hole there. But so next up is Christmas with the Joker.
This is our first introduction to the Joker. Mark Hamill plays as the Joker. Obviously, we didn't mention Kevin Conroy as Batman in all the episodes. Before we continue, Kevin Conroy as Batman. How do you feel about his performance, just in general?
It's absurd because with that whole phone call scene, I can't remember which one that was in. First episode. He's like, Alfred's like, you have a call. He's like, oh, hi, how are you doing? Great, all right, thank you. And all right, Alfred. So he like goes into like Triple H mode after, and it's like, what the hell just happened there? Like he's in the room with Alfred, and then I don't know, he's good. He's believable. I really have no complaints.
Now I will say I will say before we continue that this Batman is the Batman I think about anytime I see Batman. By the way, like some people think that their Batman is the Michael Keaton Batman, the Bruce Willis Batman, the George Clooney. I'm just kidding about Bruce Willis. The George Clooney Batman. I don't think anyone thinks that.
George Clooney's the only Batman I like.
Val Kilmer, Christian Bale, Ben Affleck. Maybe now for the younger audience,
he might be good.
I think he is good as live action. But I'm saying like when I think Batman, this is the Batman that pictures in my mind. This character he's the longest.
I think Adam
Batman.
West.
That's fine. A lot of people think that too. I know, but I'm saying like in general, like he's probably the number 2 or 3 Batman that people think about, or even
he's
one.
The number 2,
or maybe one, like depending on who you talk to. Like if you talk to your parents, they'll probably the Adam West people. Well, no, your parents are a lot younger than mine, but
well, not only that, but one's in prison.
Well, I'm just saying if you had non-prison parents, how about that, or non-prison parent?
Then I wouldn't be me.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
So, hey, you have to pay taxes to feed him. So who should feel ashamed of themselves now? Yeah. Think about that one. I'll keep you up at night.
It won't.
I'm kidding. I don't care.
So that leads us into Christmas with the Joker. So we open up with A Christmas Carol and Joker laughing maniacally as he's singing the Batman Smells song and blows a Christmas tree straight out of the window of Arkham.
Like he jumps on the Christmas tree. The Christmas tree just happens to be a rocket because all of the guards there are completely inept and can't see a guy constructing a rocket inside a Christmas tree. Like, how does this happen? This doesn't just happen, but whatever. Like you said, it's Batman. Like, it's funny.
Well, this is now the new explanation is it's the Joker. Like, it's believable because you could totally see the Joker just doing this.
I guess, yeah.
The way he is, like, you've seen what he's been able to accomplish.
Yeah. So I guess, I mean, like, overall for this episode, it is the description of it's in the title. It's Christmas with the Joker. I mean, this is it.
So Batman gets a little he's a little paranoid as usual and wants to go patrolling around the streets on Christmas Eve because he knows the Joker's up to something. Well, nobody knows him better than him. Now, I don't know how many times they've had altercations before this episode, probably many. And he keeps telling Robin, it's never easy with the Joker. And then Robin doesn't want to, he's like, it's Christmas Eve. Even thugs have families. Or scumbags have families. Like, he doesn't have a family.
So I don't think they made it clear enough that Batman understood that he was out. Like, to me, it seemed unrelated. Like, Joker escaped, and Batman was just out doing his thing. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't, like, tied together very well.
Really?
I didn't think so. I think they could have done, like, there should have been, like, a scene with, like, an alert or something.
Well,
which threw Batman out to, like, look for him.
In the Batman, the one that came out, like, 2004, they have a thing called the Bat Alert.
Mm-hmm.
Every time there's a crime, they're going, and then they tell what's going on.
It was the same thing in the one from the 60s where there would be like a red light or
this
whatever.
Show, they wanted to eliminate that completely because to them it was too campy.
Sure. Yeah. No. I guess there should have been like something, whether he received a phone call then from Commissioner Gordon saying the Joker escaped.
You don't think that if he were to escape Arkham, that wouldn't be like news? Especially if it's the Joker. Like, that wouldn't be the headline of the news?
Possibly.
I think it would. In a city like Gotham, wouldn't be frontline
But this
news?
is all based on assumptions, is what I'm saying. They didn't establish it clearly that Batman knew that Batman had this information communicated, and that's why he's out and about. So, like, I think that could have just been answered with, like, a phone call. You know what I mean? Like, it's Commissioner Gordon for you, Batman. He answers, I see.
Well, Commissioner Gordon, in this universe, Commissioner Gordon doesn't have any contact with Batman outside of when Batman just goes and sees him. Like, there's no phone, nothing like that. There's no bat phone, nothing like that. He's not as in line with the police as maybe you think they are. You'll notice when we watch more episodes. But I thought right off the bat that he knew because he saw it on the news.
Then you switch it up and you have Joker somehow call.
You're just reminding me of the Mask of the Phantasm. I can't wait till we see that because that's like, whoo, that's awesome. It's got Joker in it and everything, and a lot of the things that you didn't like about the animated series is this.
So I should make it clear, like, any critique I have is just a critique for the point of critiquing.
That's fine.
Like, because I think these first three anyway are written extremely well, and they're, it's going to be very nitpicky.
I think this one is the worst one out of the three that we saw.
Yeah.
It's
which is strange,
it's unfortunate
because
it has
the Joker. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the best actor I think to play the Joker in Mark Hamill.
Luke Skywalker.
Sure.
Correct.
Sure.
So that's the only way I accept it.
Luke Joker Weiser.
Joker Weiser. He's beer too. Yes.
Yeah. So there's a bit where Robin says, "Why don't we just go home, have some hot chocolate, and watch It's a Wonderful Life?" And Batman responds like, "I never seen that movie. I couldn't get past the title." And you were like, "Oh."
Yeah. It's so again that's like emo, just so emo. Like,
that's how he is, though.
Yeah, it's great. It's like,
there's a scene in Mask of the Phantasm where he's crying at his parents' grave, and he's just like, because he found true love, and he doesn't want to be this. This is before he became Batman, and he doesn't want to become this he doesn't want to become this vigilante that he thinks he's going to become, because he feels like if he does that, he can't be a husband if he's a vigilante. He couldn't do both. He'd have to do one or the other. So he's at his parents' grave and he's crying, like not crying, but he's like on his knees begging, telling them like he can give money to the police. It's different now. He's like, I know that I made a promise, but I didn't see this coming. I didn't expect I'm being happy. So this is a guy who died in the alleyway. I feel like his life was over when his parents were killed in front of him. Like that was it for him. Like he still has humanity, but him as being like a happy person
It's gone.
will never happen. And in this series, they will go into depth about the character of Bruce Wayne. There's a lot of good ones that we haven't gotten to. Obviously, because we've only seen 3 episodes. But I mean, like, so there you go. So that's why that It's a Wonderful Life, that scene, I really like that. Batman just immediately said that immediately, because you got to think about if you were connected to your parents like maybe he was, like they're impressionable people, they were heroes to him, and then they're killed when he's 8 years old in front of him. How would you be? Like your life would probably never be the same. You'd never be able to really move on from it.
Probably not.
Right.
No. I mean, especially in the position that he was in, like, I suppose you'd probably end up exactly like him, all twisted and dark and no hope for life. Yeah, so that anyway.
We also had so then the Joker gets on the TV because they're going to go home and watch It's a Wonderful Life. And this is where the episode really kicks off. Joker has kidnapped Commissioner Gordon, Harvey Bullock, put him in a baby costume, which I thought was actually really, really funny. Something that the Joker would totally do. And then kidnapped, I think, a female police officer. She doesn't really have a name. So, or was she the reporter?
I don't know. In the third one, they had the reporter that looked a lot like her. So I don't know. I'm assuming it's the reporter.
Summer Sanders or whatever. We'll just call her that. Susan Summers. We'll just call her Summer Sanders. So she's hosting Figure It Out. And so we have to figure this out. Okay. That was an old Nickelodeon reference right there. You don't remember that show? Pretty old. Figure It Out.
Is that kind of like the Catholic school one, Figure It Out?
No, that was on Cartoon Network. I'm talking about No, but anyway, never mind. So, what do you think of the Joker's TV show? His Christmas special.
It was as demented as you'd expect. He had a cardboard audience, a laugh track, which is great. He had a sweater. He had a Christmas sweater on, because
it's Christmas.
Yeah, just why not?
He said that he doesn't have a family of his own, so he decided to steal one. That was one of his lines. Because, that's what normal people do.
Well, if you don't have one, it's like adopting.
Do you like this Joker?
It's twisted. That's what a Joker should be.
And we have a caller. You're on Karachi and Roth. Phantasmagorical?
Yeah, I'm listening to your guys' podcast. I know it's just the first episode right now in the animated series, but who's your favorite character so far in the animated series for both of you guys?
You want to know like my favorite character of the whole series or just of what we watched?
Oh, pretty much like the whole series. I know you guys probably watched like every episode so far.
Well, I have. Rob doesn't remember any of these, so
this is like the first time I've watched in like 20 years. Seriously, so
I will have to say, like through just the animated series alone, I really like Ra's al Ghul in this series, and Bane. Bane was really cool. Obviously, I could easily say the Joker, but I don't feel like the Joker really gets awesome until after the animated series, when he gets in the other universe. Like that's where you really get to see how cool he is. And also, this series did the Riddler very well.
Okay. A little spoiler is are we gonna see Robin at all in the animated series or no?
Who?
Robin?
Robin?
No,
Yeah, he was in the second episode.
Awesome. That's good to hear.
Yep, he was kind of a buzzkill through the whole episode. But Robin matures too over the time too, between the seasons.
By mature, do you mean he gets darker?
He'll get that
Okay.
too, and he'll also start second guessing Batman because he gets older, and he also thinks that Batman the mission will never end for him, and there's no end game for him ever. That he is just as twisted as half the people he brings in. Like he starts to really second guess him.
Okay, cool. That sounds interesting.
Like that really doesn't happen until season 4. Like when they do the reanimation version of it, and he's already Nightwing, and then they do a couple flashback episodes to try to tell you what happened between the two.
Okay, cool.
Also, Batman molested him. It's
just
a huge story arc.
It's just a rumor. So
there were pictures.
So have you seen?
Thanks for the answers.
Yeah, have you seen any of the animated series episodes?
I have not.
Well, you should go watch them.
Well, what happened is I thought this was, going to be covering Raw and SmackDown, so I clicked on it. I was like, all right, Batman animated series.
Yeah,
this works too.
I'll cover Raw for you really quick here while you're listening. It sucked, and Goldberg was on for a little bit, and Goldberg botched 2 moves.
There's only 2 moves he has.
And SmackDown, actually, I would recommend you go back and watch because it wasn't that bad. Well, when you compare it to Raw.
I watched both of them, and yeah, I totally agree with Roth here that Raw definitely did not have a great show. SmackDown
it hasn't had a great show in a while.
Let's go, Miz.
Well, SmackDown is doing a great job, like tying the entire episode together. Like from start to finish, you actually feel like you're watching one cohesive episode. Where Raw is just like you're being slapped in the face with like one random story after another, and they all suck.
It's like a guy sitting in front of your face with his dick out, and he keeps slapping you in the face with it. And then there's Roman Reigns, and then he starts slapping you in the face some more, and then there's Roman Reigns. So I mean, like that's what Raw is.
Actually what happens to me while I watch Raw.
Right.
Like I'm being slapped in the face. I randomly look up at my screen and I see Roman Reigns. Then I just get back to him being slapped in the face. It's great.
Yeah, and then SmackDown's pretty good. Like the James Ellsworth story is like, what's going on here? What's going on? Super kicks, no chin.
I think if you want my honest opinion, I think you're gonna have Ellsworth turn heel and go with AJ eventually. I think that's gonna be the big plot twist of the whole thing.
I think they're gonna have Ambrose turn heel by killing James Ellsworth, and that's how they're gonna write James Ellsworth off the show.
Yeah, that too. They could use that to make a heel turn on Ambrose. I don't know. SmackDown's interesting of what they can do. It's actually a watchable show.
Yes.
And I'm actually somewhat not necessarily enjoying it, but I actually somewhat look forward to each episode.
It's sad because they're just not getting any ratings because Raw sucks so bad. I think what's happening is people are watching Raw. Someone somewhere yet is watching Raw, and they're so disappointed by Raw that they just can't tune into wrestling the next day. And then they'll watch SmackDown.
I feel like they should just go all in on SmackDown and give them a couple more guys that could help out the show. Like, I know what they're going to do. They're going to take everyone from SmackDown and move them to Raw eventually. Like, I can see The Miz going to Raw eventually because he's starting to get so much heat on SmackDown that he might go become the top heel on Raw for a little bit or whatever. I don't think Kevin Owens is cutting it as the top heel right now.
No.
Jericho is the most over guy on the show, and he's like 46. And his list is more over than any other wrestlers. So
well, I really think the Randy Orton, with the Bray Wyatt thing is a little weird.
I like it.
What?
I like
it. Are they going to make Luke Harper go solo because he's pissed off that Randy Orton's
They could.
with Bray?
It could be a Luke Harper face turn, or it could be Bray Wyatt turns on Luke as well.
I actually liked what they did with Luke Harper and Randy Orton, where they were like doing their finisher off, like essentially, and then did you notice the whole little arrow thing with Luke Harper? That was kind of neat.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool jacket. I liked it. And then that segment on Miz TV.
Yeah, it was
a little
good.
Heat there. A little heat. I don't know if that was scripted or if not. Dan Bryan. looked pretty fortunate there.
Miz's promos are not scripted. He does his own. There's a few people that are allowed to do that. Daniel Bryan's one of them as well, where they get some talking points that they're allowed to hit, and the rest of it's improv. The Miz has been doing this for a very long time. You go all the way back to the real world as far as being on TV and being in entertainment. And we've seen him pretty much grow up, like from that all the way to who he is today. And I'm just very surprised how relevant he can keep himself if they just keep giving him more TV time. Like,
yeah, seriously.
Like he's one of the most, and I will say, and I've been saying this for the last couple of years, that he is the most underutilized guy on the show for the last 4 or 5 years.
Just, I don't know, what are they going to be playing with him now that he lost IC? Ziggler is, challenging people on Raw. Like, I don't know what's going to happen with that.
I think they're going to do a title swap.
You think the U.S. champ shows up and those?
I think the U.S. will go to SmackDown and the Intercontinental will end up on Raw.
Mm-hmm. So you got Roman Reigns answering the challenge? He's in the Survivor Series match.
No, I think Roman Reigns will be inspired to do the same thing with his belt, even though he's part of it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And then they just answer each other's challenges?
I could see him going first.
But then Ziggler goes and tries to win his belt or wins his belt. That'd be interesting. I don't think that's going to happen, though. Just because I don't see Roman Reigns doing 3 matches. You want to see Roman Reigns wrestle 3 times on the same show?
I don't mind him. You're the one who hates him.
3 times, though? That's too much Roman in my life.
I could never have too much Roman in your life.
I can't stand him because I can't stand him not selling people's finishers and that type of shit, and how he'll get super kicked and then somehow be able to, with all his spite, be able to hit a Superman punch. Even fucking Batman sells being hit. He doesn't just he'll get hit in the head with a safe, and at least he's
Batman
knocked out.
Sells it.
Right.
Yes.
At least he's selling it.
I don't think he's selling it. If you get hit in the head with a safe, you kind of just got hit in the head with a safe. And you might be animated.
All right, guys. Thanks for your insight on everything. I just decided to give you guys a call quick. And then this is Jerry LaHoulier signing off on the Pinfall Wrap-Up. Spinosaurus are better than T-Rexes. Boom.
Well, that was Bob.
We can make that part of the show, we can call that the Asian Connection.
All right. I'm okay with that.
The Panda Express Corner. This part of the show was sponsored by Panda Express, where now you can eat for free. So every day, just show up and tell them you listen to our show and you eat
this
for
is
free.
the time where we should plug our non-sponsors. YouTube Red. I'm a subscriber of YouTube Red. I would recommend anyone to cancel whatever music service they have and go with YouTube Red. Everything is on YouTube that you can think of. You can create your own playlists on YouTube, and you can go from there. So YouTube Red costs the same amount as it would be if you were to if you had a Spotify account, if you had what other music streaming sites? Apple Music. It has you can do all of that through YouTube Red. And the best part is you can listen to our podcast on YouTube Red, and you don't have to worry about ads. You get right to the show, and you can, if you're listening to it on your phone, you could close out. You can read an article. You could do whatever you want. You don't have to be running YouTube, and you can save your battery life as well. Almost like using Stitcher, but better. See, I should advertise for YouTube.
Like Stitcher, but better?
Yeah.
That's going to be that's your, okay. I can get behind that.
Yeah. Me too. Panda Express. So.
Is that what you just said? Nice.
So, yeah, with that, what do you have to say?
Panda Express.
All right.
Now dog free.
Back to Christmas.
It's Christmas with the Joker.
Christmas, and now back to your regularly scheduled BatCast problem. So, let's talk about Robin. Robin sucked in this episode.
Yeah, now on the last one you said they're trying to get away from the campy factor by
Right.
having, you know, like no flashing light, pad alert, and all that kind of stuff. Well, then they need to completely change Robin because he is exactly the old Robin from the 60s.
Yeah.
Where, like, what was the scene? Like, he, like, was going to, blow up the bridge or whatever?
Operation Cause and Effect.
No. He was going to,
Oh, the bridge is out.
The Joker was going to, like, he blew up the bridge. Like, he had two of his goons blow up a bridge. The bridge blows up. Batman is watching this on the TV in the Batmobile. He sees the bridge blow up. He turns the car around and starts driving to the bridge, and like then you have Robin. Holy crap! We need to get there, and it's like, no shit.
We have to stop that bridge.
Yeah, he just turned the vehicle around to get there. Like what? Thanks for the advice.
You know what Batman should have said? Thank you, Assistant Manager Robin.
You know, like, no, just a simple no shit. Like he just turned the car. What? Like I probably would have I would have been so pissed off by that. I would have hit the brakes. I would have put the fucking thing in park. Just like shoot him out. Like, what the hell do you think I'm doing if not driving to the bridge right now? Do you want to fucking drive? Like, I would have I would have snapped because why would anyone like? Was I going to a fucking quick trip to take a shit? Like, why do you think I'm turning the vehicle around right now? Like, what prompted this? Not the bridge just exploding on the TV screen? Like, seriously? Come on. Like,
another thing that I think that also makes him very stupid is he refers to Batman even when they're not like on the streets.
Well, see, Bruce Wayne has all these fucking ridiculous rules set up.
He probably does.
Like when I'm in the suit, you call me Batman. He's probably like even like that in the bedroom, like when him and Robin are like fucking or whatever. And it's like he's like, all right, if I have this mask on, I might be naked. But if I have this mask on, you call me Batman Daddy. It's like this weird, like, whole fucking structure.
Whatever you say, Batman Daddy.
Yeah, all right, Batman. Slow down. But that's you know. But seriously, I think he has all these rules like set up in his mind where like this is how I just think that's how it would be. Like he keeps it very structured.
Right. Yeah. So you can really tell the way he is. Like. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You never really see him smile. You don't see him. Maybe once in a while you do. And even when he's Bruce Wayne, he seems kind of moody and
right.
Like,
although this one, he's really a womanizer right away in this one. Even in the first episode.
Yep.
Like the woman walks in there, you're like, "Hello, Miss. I didn't get your name," and he's like, "It's Mrs."
Well, you know that's his thing. Yeah. He's supposed to. He puts on that act so no one would ever suspect him to ever be Batman.
Right.
So he puts on this act of being a womanizer and everything. And I'm sure that it probably it's not very painful for him. It's probably maybe, I don't necessarily know if he enjoys it, but I don't think he hates it.
Fucking? Like, what are you talking about? Like, or being a womanizer? Like, I'm like, oh, he enjoys it? Like, he, like, what? Like, I don't know.
Well, just saying. So
he's like, well, Ewy, I wish this was Robin. Like, what's he doing? Like no.
So bad gay jokes. So the Joker now, they figure out where he's at because Joker pretty much tells him.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole thing was orchestrated for Batman to get pied in the face, essentially.
Do we want to talk about the canon?
Yes. Let's talk about the canon.
Okay,
Go ahead, Rob.
There is a full-blown anti-aircraft cannon that's apparently just on a mountain facing Gotham City.
It's called Mount Gotham.
Okay, so it's on Mount Gotham facing Gotham City. Apparently, there's just a cannon right next to the observatory. I can accept that. If I had a city, I'd probably put a cannon in it too. But in reality, that's not like something that makes a whole lot of sense. Somehow the Joker got a hold of this cannon. And like he's aiming at Batman and the Joker because they originally try to track the signal down and they track it down to like this tower the cannon essentially on top of this mountain. They thought the Joker was there. Obviously, oops, they're surprised. There's a cannon there, and it's firing at him instead. So then the more confusing part is the cannon shoots the tower that is sending the signal to the cannon to fire. So then when the cannon suddenly is receiving no instructions, it just goes haywire and starts shooting at everything, including the city. So who designed this cannon? Like the only thing ever preventing it from firing is it receiving a signal. If it doesn't receive a signal, like it just fucking starts firing 360 degrees, everything at every building in every direction. Like someone wouldn't have invented this better that like it wouldn't start randomly firing. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I had an issue with that. It made no sense, but that's okay. For the sake of the show, it made sense, but
right.
it really didn't.
We had this was a different kind of episode. It was a lot more had a lot more campy moments in it,
yeah.
but not too bad. There's a couple that were really bad, but for the most part, it's
like where Batman was fucking using a bat essentially to swing some stuff around, and the Joker's like, "Oh, that's why they call you Batman."
Robin said it.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's like, "They don't call you Batman for nothing, big boy."
Yeah, big boy. Batman daddy.
I don't know. I don't like this Robin so far.
No.
I'm hoping it gets better. I don't remember it being this bad when I was a kid. Like he's just not likable. He's just really
I've never liked Robin. I've truly never liked Robin.
Right.
So
well, yeah, but this universe's Robin. I don't remember it being bad. Like I've seen Robin in other universes and I just wanted to stab him with an ice pick. But like this one, I'd never had that like urge. This Robin I wanted to stab with an ice pick.
I mean, you can stab me.
Just call you Robin.
Be like, I mean, close enough. Be like, Rob. And then just
I'm gonna stick this straight in you, Rob.
Wait, that's when I just turn around.
Now it's a race scene.
Leave. That's in one of your weird European Netflix movies that you watch. It just gets really...
Yeah. So
like they just show your balls though. It's really weird. Like just balls are in this. Like
this is nothing but ass rape the whole movie.
Oh, God. Like you catch like 3/4 of my lower cheek because somehow that's like acceptable in Netflix standards. It's not porn. If they don't show 100% of it, I guess. I don't know. But
so Batman saves the crew. They're hanging over a
vat of lava. Because reasons.
Joker also had robotic versions of himself staged up, and he rigged them all with machine guns or automatic weapons, and they are designed to shoot at Robin.
They end up just shooting each other.
Right.
Yeah.
He created a robotic version of himself and made like 9 of them.
Well, it was kind of cool because each robot, it was like full size, human robot or whatever. And all they did was like they were stationary, but they couldn't move, but they could turn in place, I guess would be the way to put it. And each one of they had both of their hands up, and each one of their fingertips was the barrel of a gun.
Right.
So it was kind of neat.
Right. It was amazing.
But yeah, as he ran through the middle between them, they'd turn to fire at him, and then they'd shoot each other.
Did it kind of make you feel like the Joker planned every little thing to happen, including his capture, even?
Yes.
Like this was all just a game to him?
Yeah. What about his stooges? Whatever happened to them? One got crushed by a teddy bear, and the other one just...
They both got crushed by teddy bears.
Oh, did they? I thought one fell out of a building or something.
That was Scarecrow one. Yeah, the one guy just jumps out of the blimp. They got crushed by a teddy bear.
Okay.
Now these guys weren't as dumb as the Scarecrow villains. These guys, they'd still say, "Sure, boss," but they weren't like, "What? Yeah, Like, can't even complete a sentence.
Okay.
Well, this guy's just fucking straight up retarded.
Batman's killing you.
He's speaking terrorist. The Joker made me do it. No, but
I did it for the Joker.
I did it for the Joker. That was Robin's heel turn. So, Batman catches Joker right before he falls into the lava, and we end the show with Batman and Robin watching "It's a Wonderful Life" and Joker singing maniacally in Arkham.
Yep, he ended up in a huge freaking psychiatric cell. Huge.
In a straitjacket.
Huge. So it was like 2 stories tall. It was amazing.
Well, you know who pays for Arkham, right?
No.
Bruce Wayne.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Huh.
He donates a lot of money to him. He pretty much just funded it. In some universe, I don't know about in this one, but in one universe, it was created by the Wayne family originally. And then, I don't know. It has so many different backstories. I don't know which one's true anymore or which one to go by. In this universe, I'm not exactly sure, but I know he donates money because he references it a couple of times. Other than that, this was the end of the episode. It was a funny episode. It was a little bit different style to it. It was kind of I don't know. Did this episode maybe can't come out right around Christmas time, and that's why they just did this. They just threw this one in there. Okay. Should we go to the next one?
Yeah, let's go for it.
So the next episode is Nothing to Fear, and I think this probably was the best out of the 3. This was really good.
Yeah, the first one and the third one were really good. I like this one a little bit better, though.
Right.
So.
We get an established villain as in the Scarecrow, but this is the first time he shows up in Gotham City as the Scarecrow. So he's not an established commentator like Michael Cole. So, looking for something?
Yes, got it. We run into some random technical difficulties here.
Okay.
That'd be very unfortunate.
Oh, good call.
Yep.
It wasn't even plugged in.
Yeah, it just came up that
My battery was
at 7% there. So.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So,
but
don't worry, folks. We're still on the air. So, Nothing to Fear. It opens up with Crane and them breaking into a museum or a university.
University. Well, it opens up with they're at a university fundraiser or something along those lines, and I think they had things all over the place saying "Save the University," and then it kind of cuts to people just kind of chatting about, what are all these crimes that keep on taking place at the university? If this keeps on happening, students are going to be scared to show up. So
Bruce hits on Summer Sanders.
Yeah, they kind of immediately established that something is going on with crime at the university, and it's an ongoing problem. So you have Bruce Wayne in an elevator.
This was later. This was in the second act. The first act, he just shows they're robbing that bank or whatever, and they burn all the money.
Well, that's after the elevator thing.
Because the elevator one, he was talking to that professor in the elevator, and that's when he said, "You should be ashamed." Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. That was first.
Because they're in the elevator, and it's him and that Summer Sanders or whatever, and one of the professors immediately says to him that his father, the Wayne name, used to carry respect and honor, and now his father would be ashamed of him because now all this is he's like a playboy, and that's what people think of when they hear Wayne. So that kind of establishes the theme of the episode, him saying that, where his father would be disappointed in him. So then they kind of
takes it directly to heart.
He actually
so out of character.
Like you said, he takes that to heart. But as he's in the elevator riding down, that's when he sees a helicopter flying over the building that he's in, and then it cuts to the next scene. Right. Yep.
You're right. And that's when they're robbing the bank. What do you think of the goons that he has?
Goons across the board. Like the one Joker had, like, is there like some union or something that they're getting all of these people from? Like, really? Like you think about it, like they're like all of these like goofy like 30s like style, like they're like, what boss? Oh, what? Where did he go? You know, like that kind of just dopey. They're funny. It was just dopey. So dopey.
They're so dumb. These two were probably the worst.
You want to know what though? It's good that they make the villains like dopey and not cool, because it is a children's show. Like sometimes like you have like the main villain of a movie or whatever, and you're like, oh, that dude's a badass, even though he's like killed 30 kids through the thing or whatever, and he's done all these horrible things. Like he's still a badass in the end of it. You know what I mean? Until like the hero kills him or whatever it may be. When you have a children's show, if you make like the heroes or the villains too cool, or you make like their goons like, you know, like badass mercenaries or whatever, you're kind of like telling the kids it's okay to be the bad guy. You know what I mean? So that's probably where some of that comes from, where it's not cool to be stupid, so you kind of want to make your goons stupid.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
totally
I think that's why the goons have the tendency of being stupid, and it kind of focuses on the main villain. Yeah.
And one thing I noticed in this cartoon, in these, I don't really want to call them a cartoon. It's more animation, because cartoon sounds like something for little kids.
Mm-hmm.
But like they're villains, they're bad guys. They all have some kind of reason for existence. They're not just outside maybe the Joker. The Joker's entire existence is just to fuck with Batman. That's like the reason he exists in this universe. He's not looking to kill him or anything like that. He just wants to see how far he can push him.
Like a pie in the face.
Right.
Yep.
Like all that just to pie him in the face, which is like genius at the same time, but you're fucking psychotic.
Right.
But on Leather Wings, there's not necessarily a villain in that. That's just a guy, a mad scientist that experimented on himself too much.
Right.
He didn't really have an end game of what he was going to accomplish.
He was just a fuck up.
Right. He just wanted to be a bat. He felt alive being a bat. And I don't think he was stealing formula to be able to stay the way he was. But after he would do that, what would be his end game? I
mean, I don't know. We have a lot of Mexicans who steal formula, and I'm not really sure what their end game is with it. Like, what do they do?
Meth.
They make meth out of it. All right. Well, that takes care of that. They come in like every day, like $200 worth of formula.
Goodbye, Mexican audience.
We didn't have one.
We had Mario.
Who?
Remember Mario?
He's gone.
Does he have a sense of humor?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, well, then he's straight. All right, cool. Cool. Well, they do it. It's not a lie.
So,
I don't think they're illegal. Well, what they're doing is illegal.
Okay, so anyways, and nothing to fear. This guy had Professor Crane or Dr. Crane. He had a goal. What he wanted to do, he wanted to destroy the university because of how they fired him because he tried to kill a bunch of students.
Right. He was straight up torturing people. So he was doing fear experiments, and that's what he called them. They're fear experiments. Essentially, what he was doing, he was asking students what they feared most, locking them in rooms with whatever it was. Like if you said, I fear spiders or fire, he was locking you in the room with spiders or fire, and then he was
or
like
both.
Yeah, or both, whatever it was. And then he walked past and like he would look through like the little like the glass on the door and like write on his clipboard about like how you were reacting to your fear. So he was torturing these people, and then he was pulled in front of like the board of like whatever. It was like, you're fired. like, obviously, you're completely fired. Like what you were doing does not fly. Like this isn't moral, ethical, or whatever. So they got rid of him.
Right.
So now he's trying to like get revenge on the university because they fired him for torturing people.
He would be a classic case of a guy who belongs in Arkham. There's something seriously wrong with him.
He's like completely psychotic. He thinks what he's doing is okay, but he's torturing people.
Right.
Literally.
So he hits Batman breaks up the robbery. and then he gets shot with a dart with this fear toxin, which brings out Batman's biggest fear of his parents.
It's a time-release fear toxin. Because it keeps on, it
right.
only fucks with him like for a little bit of time, like intermittently. So like every like couple hours or whatever, like he has a flashback or whatever he fears most.
Right. So he has this this toxin inside of him, and he kind of passes out with the fire going in. The fire brings up a vision of his father, and his father says, "Bruce, I'm disappointed in you. You have failed me, Bruce." He's like, "No, Father. Give me one excuse why I shouldn't terminate you right now." And he's like, "Bruce, I don't think you understand the seriousness of this hallucination you're having." And then
like, this is work.
And so we get the scene. Harvey Bullock shows up. Kind of is a wise ass to Batman again, and says, "Hey, this is police business. Haul your bat butt out of here, and you're stealing evidence."
So
he's like, "What do we got here? A couple of haters?
A couple of haters?
Yeah, a couple of haters." Enzo's in the show.
One thing about this last scene that clearly makes no sense. All right, so they go into this bank vault.
Yeah.
Right, and they're not going in there to steal money. They're going in there to like burn everything up
and take some money.
Take what they can hold, but that's not the point of it. It's not a robbery. It's like just pure arson. Like they're going in there to burn it down. Okay, great. So they go in there. They have cans of gasoline. They're pouring the fucking gas everywhere. They're gonna light it up. Boom, we're gonna burn everything. They light the gasoline. Everything starts on fire. Batman is in there. He doesn't prevent anything. He's on the ground hallucinating while they're just lighting everything on fire. And then the sprinklers kick in because that's what the sprinklers are there for, and they put out the fire, right? They immediately suppress the fire. A little bit of the money burns up. Other than that, like the fire's put out.
Correct.
Batman is hallucinating this entire time. He doesn't have a fire extinguisher. He did not do anything to the villains. Like other than shook some of the money out of the fatter one, but like the money that
would you say that maybe he showed up? Him showing up maybe put their plan in motion a little too quickly, and they didn't have enough time to turn the sprinklers off.
Was that part of their plan?
We don't know.
Okay, because
is there a possibility
they made it sound like Batman stopped it all, but he didn't.
The police
do anything.
The one guy said that because he was unconscious and he knew there was a fight. That's all.
He didn't do anything,
right? But he didn't know.
I know, but he just like kind of sat there. And he would have burned to death if the sprinklers not kicked in,
right?
So he wasn't necessarily effective there.
Or Harvey Bullock would have rescued him because he was the first one there,
right?
And then he was so one thing you're going to notice in this series, anytime he has a conversation with Commissioner Gordon and then they show Commissioner Gordon in the scene and then the next scene he'll look to, "What do you think?" And then they'll show the scene and Batman will be just gone. They'll do that a lot and it's going to be funny. There's a scene like later on in the series where Gordon, I think, says like, "One of these days I'm just going to nail his feet to the floor." Because they'll have a conversation, and then Commissioner Gordon will figure out what Batman's about to do. He's like, "Oh, so that means you're gonna go?" Well, he's already gone. He gets what he needs, and he's gone. And he does that to Batman a lot, or he does that to Commissioner Gordon a lot. So that's kind of his thing, just be an asshole for no reason.
Just wandering off,
right?
Mid convo,
right? So this was the first time we got that, except he did it to Bullock. So. We don't know where he went. We don't know how he disappeared. There's no way he could have just back grappled out of there because there's nowhere to go. There's no window up there.
Maybe he's still in the room.
It's possible. He's just hiding behind the lamp.
This is just some douchey shit he does. Yeah. So he's just like...
or he just lies on the ground, tries to blend into the environment. Maybe he's a chameleon. A bat chameleon.
What is that? It's not even a thing. It's
I am Bat Chameleon Man.
And I am Man Chameleon Bat.
Oh my God. So we're only poking fun at it because we enjoyed it. So there's like, we tried to nitpick at certain things just to kind of make it entertaining.
Yeah, really. I mean, I want to make it clear. Like, I enjoyed the 3 episodes.
Oh, they're awesome.
I'm not complaining at all. Like I said, like any critique I have is just nitpicking for the sake of nitpicking. Like I wouldn't.
Right.
Like, so.
These were awesome episodes, but I like to poke fun at things that I like sometimes, like the ridiculousness of it and why we pass it because it's Batman. Okay, so what happened next? So he's at home and he's with Alfred, and this is where we finally get to really see how good Alfred really is to him. We get some more Alfred lines, thank God, him being a smart ass as usual, and. What do you say? Like, I'm proud of you, to kind of snap him out of his thing?
Yeah, he said that because Bruce was bringing up how his parents would be ashamed of him or whatever and all of that, and Alfred's like, that couldn't possibly be true because I'm proud of you. So, yeah, that was a nice one.
What do you think of Alfred in the show?
Solid.
Yeah, he's really good.
I like the Alfred from the Christian Bale ones a lot, but I'm a huge Michael Caine fan. Like, he's one of my favorite actors. Like, period. Like, he's up there. Like, yeah. That's so random. So
I agree. Car. I don't know what that means.
Truck.
Beep beep. Honk honk. Duck. So. Quack. So we get into our. He goes back out to get him again, and we get another blimp incident.
Yeah,
like we're all in on these blimps.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, the thing is, like, it fits like the super Art Deco style that they're going for, but that's not a thing. Like. It's not a thing.
Not a bunch of blimps out there.
No, it's like
it's not the best form of transportation if you're a police officer.
Well, the thing is, okay, so like the style that they're going for is 30s. Like they're going for like the 30s, kind of the noir style. That's kind of what they're going for. And with that, part of that whole style, like, their vision of like how things would be was blimps and all of that kind of stuff, and everything futuristically would still be in that style. So that's why like the train is like super. It's a modern train, but it's still super Art Deco. All of their cars are they're modern cars, but they look super old, and that's just kind of their style. So the blimp kind of fits in there, but yeah, there's a lot of blimps. Every episode has had a blimp so far. So
yeah, Christmas with the Joker had a blimp too.
Yeah, they're just blimping around.
So you notice with Christmas with the Joker, there were like no police in that episode?
Yeah, I mean, other than the captured ones. Commissioner Gordon and
Bullock, that was it.
Yeah.
We had no police. Like, you think the police would be looking for them too?
Yeah, fuck it.
Just saying. Anyways, so he gets in instances where he's capturing the goons. There's one where he let fall.
Yeah, just straight out of fucking. Was that out the blimp?
No, it was
out
a window first, okay. And he just hit one of those things that you see like in front of like older hotels. If you go in a big city, they have like things that like block the rain kind of thing. I don't know what they're called.
Canopy?
They're like a tent thing. That are in front of a window, like a door. You walk out the door, it's right above you. It probably has the logo on the side.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So he hits that thing and he gets a little bit of a give, but somehow that prevents him from, dying or being severely injured.
Both of which would happen.
Right.
He'd go right through and just die.
There would be two possibilities that would happen. Either he'd hit that thing and go right through and die. The other one would, if he was maybe a little lighter, he would hit the thing. It would bounce him back up like and then he would die by hitting a car or something.
Yeah, or you hit another one right next to it.
He
or you
might
hit another one.
he may survive that fall, but he'd be severely injured.
Yeah.
The first possibility, it would be death. And so then we have our second fall.
Or he could go through an announce table.
Right.
Which would be fine.
We had a guy jump out of a blimp because he's like, "Oh my god, a spider!" And he like jumped out of the
Yeah, he just jumped out. Hit a tree, I think.
he jumped onto the swanton bomb onto a tree.
Yeah. I guess again you'd be okay.
Oh my god! I don't. What did he say? A snake or a spider?
I forget what he saw.
Oh, dinosaur or something.
Yeah.
No, he saw jail cells.
Oh yeah, he didn't want to deal with the walls of a jail. Yep.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh my god, a jail wall! I'm gonna jump out this window."
Yep.
Yeah. So Crane gets away. Batman saves the doctor, but crashes not the blimp into a building 9/11 style.
Yep.
And then the next scene is Crane in his office being angry about Batman spoiling his plans again. And then the lights go dark. And this is one of the best scenes of the whole episode. I love it when they show Batman in pure darkness and all you do is see his eyes. I think we need more of that. I want to see more of that later, more in the series, because he looks frightening.
Yeah,
scary.
He's like a shadow with eyes, and then he steps out.
And he hits Crane with a dart or something, where he gets the toxin in himself, and he sees Batman as some kind of like bat demonic monster. It looked awesome. I feel like he should just dress like that.
Oh, just a complete bat, like the full bat suit,
Right?
Like a bat suit. Yeah.
I think he'd be more scary. So that's how the episode ends. I think he probably goes to Arkham.
Yeah, they
didn't show it, but I'm sure he's in Arkham.
Yep.
So overall, what'd you think of the episode?
That was a good episode.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was the best of the three we watched tonight.
Yeah. So next week we'll get the last laugh. That's a Joker episode. You can tell by the title. Pretty Poison. I'm sure that's a Poison Ivy episode. And the Underdwellers. I want to say that's Clock King. That's a guy who lives underneath the sewers and he makes children do all his bidding for him.
Or is it Master Splinter?
I don't know. It could be that.
That's from Ninja Turtles. So.
Now, granted, going through these episodes is going to be some duds.
Oh, yeah.
And when we get the duds, we'll rip them.
Do they have any clip shows?
Yes.
Oh, those are skipperoos.
No. You mean like I'll clip to their actual episodes before? No. They do have They have clip episodes where they clip back to something that they never showed before.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I meant like just...
Okay. There's one episode where these kids, I think it's called like Batman's in My Basement or something like that. And these kids are all talking about Batman, about their altercation with Batman. And so the first guy's flashback is like the 60s Batman, with the Adam West style Batman and the Adam West style Joker, which makes no sense, but the Cesar Romero's Joker. And then the next guy's flashback is like the George Clooney Batman. They rip into George Clooney's Batman. So this was later on. So this was the one that came out in like 99 or whatever. And they just ripped the fuck out of Joe Schumacher.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And then the third one is like Batman's a demon and he's like a vampire. Which in there's a Justice League movie called it's called Justice League Gods and Monsters, and it's a parallel universe. They only got 3 heroes. It's Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman. And Batman's like a vampire in the series or in the movie. Superman's like wears a leather coat. He's like the Fonz, and he wears a T-shirt that says S on it. And then Wonder Woman looks completely different too. This is the only one I haven't seen.
How do they rip into the Clooney?
I don't remember, but I know they do that.
Really? That's interesting.
I just remember reading about it. I didn't necessarily. I don't know. We'll know when we get to it.
Yeah.
That one I'm interested to see because I haven't seen that one in maybe a decade. It's been a long time since I've seen that episode. overall, I mean, this was exciting. This was a fun.
This is much less depressing than watching Raw.
Right.
So, and you want to know what's great? Like, even if we do hit one dud episode, we're not going to hit 3 duds in a row, hopefully.
No.
So, even if there is a bad one, we'll be like, well, the first one sucked, but the other 2 are great. And, we might not have enthusiasm about one, but the other 2 will make up for that or whatever it may be. So, it's not like when we have 3 hours worth of Raw that every hour is a dud. These episodes are only 20 minutes long. So honestly, we probably spent more time reviewing the episode than the episode actually took to watch.
So far out of the 3 villains, who was your favorite?
The Joker was well done. I like the Joker. I'm probably going to go there just because the sense of humor and how twisted he is.
Out of the 3 episodes I saw, I really liked, I guess the Joker. I didn't like Crane that much. I liked the episode. I liked the idea behind it, but I didn't think he was real relatable or real believable.
No.
He seemed like he was a crazy man.
I mean, the twisted part was him thinking torture is okay, but
right,
especially to that extreme. Still updating.
Yeah. So the reason we're on late today, Rob, you want to explain that?
Yeah. So Windows updates a lot, and usually the updates are pretty quick or whatever, and they 5 minutes, whatever, they're done updating, and we can get on with opening up our programs we do to upload the podcast. And this update that's been running on my laptop right now has taken we waited for maybe like a half hour before we started on YouTube, and it has been going the entire time now. So check your Windows, see if you have an update, and you might want to run that overnight or something, because this is obviously like going to be a 3-hour long update.
Right.
So that's why we're a little bit later. We were going to try to last it out.
Whatever. So this is the theme they use for the Adventures of Batman and Robin, which is still it's part of the same universe that we're watching right now. So some of the intros that we'll see will have this one instead of the one we just saw. There's 2 different intros.
Oh.
And this is the Shirley Walker theme. With that's the pinfall wrap-up. Wow. It's not the pinfall wrap-up. With that's Karachi and Rob alongside Karachi and then Rob. I'll work on that ending on how we do it. Maybe we'll still call it the pinfall wrap-up. I don't know yet. We're
just out of irony, we should keep it as a pinfall wrap-up. I don't know. We will figure it out. This is our transitional episode, so...
Batman.